I spoke about my sister as a baby. I'd like to say a few words about her as she grew up. We were 7.5 years apart, and so I became more like her mother than her sister. We were very, very close, and we loved each other very much. When my mother, if she had a problem with my sister, I was the one who had to take care of it. Bee had, what kind of illness? Rheumatic fever. And the doctor wanted to put her into the hospital, but my mother didn't let her, so I was married at the time. I came every day to stay with her and brought home her homework. She was in middle school at the time. And when they moved up to my mother and Bee moved to Baltimore, where she met Seymour. They were at a outdoor concert, and Seymour was in the Army, and he was there with some friends, and he picked her up, and they went out, and she liked him very much. When he went overseas, she wrote to him every single day. We loved Seymour, and when he came back, they got married in my house, and it's hard for me to talk about. It's hard for me to talk about my sister. We were very, very close over the years. When she adopted Len, we were thrilled, and we were thrilled when Laurie came along. And she moved to Bayshore. We saw each other very often. She and Elaine, I overheard a conversation between Bee and Elaine, and Elaine was asking Bee how babies are born, and they must have been about 10 years old at the time. And Bee said, when the doctor thinks it's time, he cuts the lady open. If the baby is ready, he takes it out. If not, he sews it up again, and she comes back next month. My mother caught Bee reading the Amboy Dukes. I was on my honeymoon at the time. When I came back, she said, "You have to talk to Beatty. She's reading a dirty book."
Then she gave it to me.
So I said, "What book was that?" So she said, "The Amboy Dukes." I said, "Well, why don't you talk to her?" She says, "I don't know what to say." Anyway, when Bee started going out with Seymour, my mother said that I had to talk to her about the facts of life. So I drew pictures for her, I told her. She said many years later it was the best sex education that she's ever had. When Charlie caught her smoking, my mother said, "You have to talk to Bee, she's smoking." So he talked to Bee, and I don't know what he said, but she was very, very angry with him for many weeks after that. But she did quit smoking. And she's a great, great loss to me. She suffered terribly for over 7 years. She had cancer. And we were very devoted to the very end. If I have time, I'd like to talk about my uncles. 5 minutes?
12 minutes.
Oh, no. I want
Synopsis. Go ahead.
I wanted to say that I love the women they married. We were very close. Abe and Frida and I were very close. And when Frida was in labor, I came over to stay with Fred, and I had heard these terrible things about women screaming and in pain. She was in labor and sat very calmly taking the nail polish off her nails. I said, "How do you feel?" She said, "I feel fine." She didn't want me to be frightened. So Gussie, when Gussie was pregnant, she had to be in bed for most of her pregnancy. And I'd come home from school and I'd go to her apartment and I'd keep her company. We'd play games together. I'm just saying this to show you how close we all were and how much we loved each other. And I just wanted to add that to what I had said before.
Excellent, thank you.